Hey y'all, this is Franny.
This is Katie.
And we're the hosts of Chicklet Murder Mysteries.
If you like books about murder, mystery, romance, and some sexy time, our podcast is for you.
Wine and your pajama pants are optional.
Find us on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, or the podcast player of your choice. Or you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ChickletMM. Come join the fun. Bye!
Hey HBs, welcome back to Heaving Bosoms, and happy Halloween week. This is the podcast where two long-distance friends stay connected via a shared love of romance novels, giggling, and mutual support. This week's Patreon shout-out goes out to Megan K. Megan, you are a Selkie, a shape-shifting protector who can seamlessly transition from culture to culture, place to place, with a quick shedding or redonning of your seal skin. Your gentle, protective instincts make you a natural mentor and a valued friend, and your beauty shines from the inside out. Though you might be naturally introverted, your strong sense of loyalty allows you to thrive in large groups just like regular seals. And your bark, when employed, can change even the most recalcitrant among us. And now, in honor of Halloween, let's get into our lively discussion of Mating the Huntress by Talia Hibbert. And I just want to make a note that while Ember woke up mid-recording and makes a short appearance, he was not around for the most explicit sections or for my animated expletives. Here we go! Excellent. Hi, Erin.
Hey, Melody.
Oh boy, we are off to a great start today, don't you think?
Fair, but I don't know. This cold just won't go away. I'm sorry. I've had this cough for 8 weeks, and I know it is the bane of your existence trying to edit these episodes, but...
No, it's fine. It's totally fine.
I hate it even more than you do, I think.
I mean, I would think so, since you're the one actually coughing.
And everyone on a plane hates it, too. Because they all think I have, SARS, and I have to be I don't have SARS, guys. And then, you know how people, when they tell you what they are always lying when people are like, I'm low drama. You know, those people are always the highest drama people. I feel like every time I'm I just have this cough, and it's been lingering for weeks and weeks, but, I don't have SARS. They're like, this bitch has SARS.
This bitch. Oh, man. So, how are you, my darling?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah?
You know, I'm fine.
That's good.
How are you?
I'm good, for the most part.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's the banter. All right, moving on.
So wait, I do have a question for you, Erin. Are you feeling spooky?
I'm always feeling spooky. Are you feeling spooky?
I'm feeling pretty fucking spooky.
Yeah?
Yeah, what's your front yard look like? Are you doing that thing again?
Oh, yeah, we did it up. We did it up good. We have glow-in-the-dark spider webs.
Oh.
We have a big spider web in front of the front door. You got to, dodge some hanging spiders to get to the door. I'm sure the mailman loves it. And we got a graveyard. We got some graveyard dogs with, taking the bones away, you know?
Yeah.
Skeleton dogs. What else we got? I think that might be it.
That is super exciting.
Yeah.
My Halloween decorations consist of leaves I refuse to clean up.
Ooh,
so
spooky.
Spooky. It's all natural, if you will.
Yeah. It's a rustic theme.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. But even more than spooky, I am ready for a werv.
Are you ready for a sexy, committed, absolutely just dough on the inside, but fangs on the outside werv?
A werv.
Oh, I am so excited about this. This has made my week, frankly.
I was so excited to read this book. I was like, I'm so ready for a sexy monster in my life. I need a sexy monster in my life. And I've got one. I got a new one.
Not to mention the other benefit to this book, which is that it is a novella. It is not
what a breath of fresh air.
Marathon through 500 pages of gluten-free grains and puzzles.
It is not a dissertation. That book read like her fucking diary. It was like, today...
We're not talking about that
Okay,
anymore.
I'm sorry.
We're
Okay,
over it.
okay. We're over
But
it. We're over
what
it.
we have now, we're not scarred. Now we get to jump right into sexy monsters and a family of lady huntresses and just pure silver blades, you guys. So strap in and get ready because we are reading Mating the Huntress by Talia Hibbert. We messaged her, and that is in fact how you pronounce her name. Thank you so much for responding, Talia.
How embarrassing for us always. We never know how to pronounce anything.
I mean, I just like to quadruple check now, just to be surezies.
Yeah. How embarrassing. Okay.
So embarrassing. However, we start this epic tale, this beautiful journey in September in the prologue. And we start without our heroine, which I actually really liked.
I assumed it was our heroine, and I didn't know.
I know.
Can I also say that this book is dedicated for the matriarchs? What a great dedication.
Talia.
So good.
You are doing it, and you're doing it right. Okay. The other night, actually, I was, last night, I was dead tired, sitting down. Michael was watching some sort of, like, movie I would hate because it's, like, scary or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to give you a kiss and then go up to bed. But then a matriarch came on the screen, and I was like, I'm actually just going to see how this works out, and then I'll go to bed.
What was it? What did you watch?
I have no idea. No idea.
Good. Did you watch it till the end and you still don't know what the fuck it was?
I left after the matriarch left the screen. I literally just popped in for this strong ass woman telling a bunch of people what to do, and then I left.
Well, gosh, nice. I was out getting a rental car in some such town, I think Seattle,
wherever. And
the guy looked at my ID and said, "Oh, you're from Alaska." I'm like, "Yeah," and he's like, "I just watched this great movie about Alaska. It's on Netflix. It's like a mystery movie. It's called Hold the Dark." And he's like, "It's got that guy from True Blood in it." And I was like,
Which
one?
Hello.
Because Alaska movie, I know, but it's Eric Northman. So I was like, okay, Alaska movie with that Skarsgård. Like, I'm all about it. I started this thing and I'm home alone like a fucking idiot. David's at work and I started this thing and 20 minutes in, I was like, oh no. This is the worst dreams ever. Oh God. And then I turned it off and like, I couldn't turn on anything funny. It just seemed artificial after that because of the low key terror that was happening all around me. And I'm like texting David and I'm like, I don't know what kind of op you're on, but like, I need you to finish it up quick and like get home. It's like, and the dogs just keep barking at nothing. I was like, oh God. And it's in Alaska too. So I'm just like, my boots are scary. The snow is scary. The sky is scary. Everything reminds me of it. Oh, amazing. Man. Don't watch that movie, HBs. It's not I think it's called Hold the Dark. But 20 minutes in, I was like, oh God, this is what fresh hell. And I don't even know if I even glimpsed a Skarsgård yet. Oh, God.
No. Oh, we're not doing that. No.
But I read the description of it, and it seems like that Skarsgård is the villain in it, so woof.
All right, well, okay, here we go. So, we're in the prologue. We're super excited about it. We meet Victory. She is a huntress. She is currently on the hunt for a werewolf.
They all have such cool names.
It's a family of excellent names. They're all like virtues, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
They're like old school virtues. So I wouldn't call all of them virtues anymore, but that's fine. So Victory is in the woods. She's on a hunt. She's looking for a werewolf. She is in dire straits. She's been separated from the rest of her badass lady huntress family. And she's like, okay, this is the choice I made. I am an Adolfo woman, which is apparently just a lineage of badass ladies that wield blades and murder werewolves.
Talia doesn't explain it. You know why? She doesn't fucking have to. We move on. No herbs in.
That's right.
I know what's up. Adolfo woman apparently means something. Moving on. Don't need to know.
Yeah.
Don't need to know. Into it. No herbsing here.
No herbsing. So she's like, you know what? What we're going to do is sacrifice our life so that my family can get away. And I was into it.
Oh, I just realized because our heroine is named Chastity, that's the reason why you're like, these aren't virtues anymore. God, because you're a slut. That's why.
It's true.
I was like, what is she talking about?
It's true.
Victory is a cool virtue. Then I saw Chastity and I was like, oh, right. Because Melody's like, Chastity, that's not a good thing in this world. Anyway,
No,
all right.
that is false, madam. False. I'm not saying it's a bad thing in the world. I'm just saying that it's not necessarily the goal.
I know. It's just funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not necessarily something to be put on a pillar.
It's just funny how it hit me. I was just like, oh, because we're sluts. That's why.
That's
okay.
right. That's right. So she is going through the forest. She meets up with this werewolf, and he is slathering, and he's 8 feet tall, and he's
what
like
a monster,
humanoid, and he's all steel gray. And you gotta see those ripply muscles on him too, because he's got those. He's got those torso muscles that we all like. And he's got 8-inch fangs or something huge.
Why am I even here? Like, I just want to listen to you tell this book. This is great.
Oh, whatever. So then he pounces, right? He pounces right on her, and she falls back, and she's like, here's my time. Oh, it's my time to go. And he looks at her neck, and then he goes down, but all he does is rip off a piece of her sweater. And he
sniffs up on her hoodie.
Yeah, he's like sniffing up on her. And he says something to her. Can I tell you something? I've read this book twice or 3 times now. Mm-hmm. I have no idea what he's trying to say.
Well, I think it's like Mind If I or something like that. This is a England book.
It is an England book.
This is a contemporary times book.
Yes.
This is paranormal contemporary times book.
Don't get confused.
Urban fantasy times book. But this is an England located book.
Correct.
So when I read this, I was like, oh, that sounds a lot like my impression of an English street urchin. Like, if you were to phonetically like write out me in Firelight being like, hello, cheese on toast, it would probably look like this. But yeah, I don't know. It's some kind of like phonetic, like the wolf is trying to politely ask permission for him to rip some part of her hoodie off and take it with him. But he's unable to pronounce that as a wolf.
Yeah, fangs are hard to talk through, you know?
Yeah. Also, he's no doing his best. Yeah, it's hard.
Absolutely.
So
more of a snout
eventually
situation.
She's just like, I don't know what you're trying to say, monster wolf. And he's like, all right, and just like rips off some of her hoodie and then trots away.
Can I just say one of my favorite parts of this, and this is a good example of the wit that is throughout this thing, is that he says this thing to her and it says, she squinted. I beg your pardon? And then in parentheses, right afterwards, it goes, imminent death, her mother would remind her, was no reason to abandon good manners.
Yes.
So good.
And then she wondered when he walks away, she's like, am I dead? Did it happen? Did death happen? Because like, I don't know werewolves that don't rip throats out.
Mm-hmm.
Dum, dum, dum. Go back this to one doesn't because he's sexy.
Oh, he's the sexiest. So he rips off a piece of her hoodie.
But it's not Victory's hoodie. It's her sister Chastity's hoodie.
That's the one.
She was borrowing it like sisters do.
Like sisters do.
Oh, but can I just like bing bong bong?
Yeah, tell me everything.
We're hunting gear with Erin. We've had many segments about appropriate gear. I just feel like, I mean, I don't live in England,
sure,
but I feel like it's north. It's in a northernly.
You know, and I've heard it's pretty rainy too. Yeah, you know? It's misty at the very least.
Yeah. I just feel like a cotton hoodie is not your best gear for hunting werves. You want like a Gore-Tex, you're going to need a moisture wicking, maybe even some kind of like a little bit of something with a little bit of armor, you know, to it.
Oh, totally.
Like those fireman pants, you know, that can't rip.
Yes.
You know, like the ones that stop the chainsaw. You should have those pants that stop the chainsaws. Adofos.
Yeah, Adofos. That might help you against the fangs that are the werves.
That's just, I mean, this isn't a bing boom bong about the writing. I just want to give some advice to the Adolfos. I think I'd be a pretty good Huntress because I've got some ideas.
Geared out.
Yeah.
Just in life generally.
I just have some ideas. That's all.
You know, I actually imagined that this was an underlayer because he had to snurfle around in there before he really got up
snurfled.
to it. I mean, so he snurfled quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, he snurfled.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe her hood was poking out.
That's what I'm saying.
Of like a more like a leather, like maybe she had some leather.
Oh,
that's going to give you some armor.
Had to have been wearing leather. She's too hot not to be wearing leather. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, covered in leather.
Yeah, just head to toe. Leather.
Do you think the wolf was also wearing a leather jacket? Do you think it's possible?
I don't. I would like to think so.
Can you imagine it though? Can you imagine a situation where he's in like a cool leather jacket like the Fawns? Anyway, I just imagined that. It was funny.
Leather jacket that fits an 8-foot tall humanoid. Yes. You know, I wonder if he had that specially made.
Yeah, I think he would have had to. God. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go any further down that line. I just imagined it was funny image, and now we're somewhere else. We're in October, chapter 1.
We are in October, and we are in Luke's head. Luke is our sexy beast. Luke Anthony, and he was a simple beast. It says, "Curse of the Moon aside." It's so
He's
cute.
at the Cup-O-Go, which is a coffee shop with great Wi-Fi. And guess who works at the Cup-O-Go? It's Chastity, the non-huntress. Oh, it probably already explained this. So Chastity can't be a huntress. She's not allowed to be a huntress. I don't know if we know why yet, but she's just a simple barista of the world, not
that's right.
a huntress like her sisters.
She's the one lady in her 14-child family. Can we put that out there really quickly? Because
Oof.
Especially since like her mom still hunts, like baddest of asses. This Adolfo matriarch.
God.
I am currently brooding my second, and like the aches and pains that are added on to subsequent pregnancies is like not something to fuck around with. And she did it 14 times. Amazing. Anyway.
Like, how after your like 11th is your vagina not so wrecked that you can have your 12th? Like, it just blows
like
my mind.
Your uterus, you know?
Yeah.
Woo.
Oof. If any of you guys have 14 kids, I'd like to know about it.
Email us.
Like, physiologically, I want to know about it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, not in detail. Don't get weird, because, you know, like.
You know what? Do get weird.
I don't like to hear about pregnancy things. No.
The emails.
No, I have immediate regret.
I will copy and paste the pertinent parts for Erin. I would like to know the nitty gritty. Give it to me. The more you want to reveal, the better, frankly.
Okay.
For Melody Carlisle.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
She's baristaing.
Yeah. He's at the coffee shop.
And he's been coming in for like 3 weeks.
And he gets like 10 scones or something crazy like that every time he does. And
they're definitely protein sandwiches, madam. Don't.
Protein sandwiches?
Obviously. He's a worm.
Oh, you know who I was thinking of? I was thinking of the Unleashing hero and his bear claws.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because remember how she thought he was homeless and he spent $35 on bear claws every day?
Every day.
That's what I was thinking of. All right, so he gets protein sandwiches. He wolfs them down quite literally, and he watches Chastity because he's in love with her because she's his mate. And he knew it because he smelled her on the hoodie. Yeah. And now he tracked her down, and he's at the coffee shop. He's trying to figure out a way to ask her out, but he doesn't know how. Because she's a shy human, and he's a sexy monster.
Well, and because he talks about not being very well adjusted to human life. Like this wolf iteration are lone wolves. They sort of have like one child usually. Very small families. They're very loyal to their parents. But other than that, they don't socialize much. So he's been having a problem working up the nerve and like even the opportunity, because she'll only talk to him about work. She'll be like, what kind of coffee would you like? But that's the extent of it.
Yeah. And he's like, this is the day. I'm gonna ask her out today. And so like he gets his protein sandwiches, and then he's like, cold outside. Like, oh, it's so awkward. And like she's like, and he's like, the biscuits look good, which are, hey, culture time with Melody and Erin.
Yeah,
biscuits
are cookies.
England is cookies.
Yeah.
That's a little culture for you guys.
You uneducated
some
Americans.
Shit up right now. Yeah, look at you.
Good.
Look at you knowing what biscuits are in England. All right, but they're scones, which I don't. God, that's a layer too far for me. I don't know if scones are the same.
Scones are actually scones.
It's a layer too far. Because it seemed like they're decorated with some kind of icing or something. So I'm like, well, that's not what a scones is. No,
sometimes.
But like, they don't get decorated. You don't put like a face on a scone.
Oh, no. No, you don't.
No. If it's icing, it's just like a little bit.
That's true. Also, I'm pretty sure they would be scones. But
no,
I'm not sure.
Stop it. I don't know. Oh, God. Podcast over. We can't continue on.
Okay.
We're too deep.
So one of the things I love about this chapter is that he talks about how even though all the competing scents of the coffee shop dull her delicious scent, she still smells totally delicious to him.
And he's like, she's so beautiful with her hair and her eyes. She's got dark curly hair and like dark eyes. And she's wearing a fucking hairnet. And he's still like, she's so pretty.
She's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so good. That, you know what? Sometimes people have an issue with mating books, but I fucking love them. And I'm a person that doesn't believe in soulmates.
Here's the thing. I usually do have an issue with mating books, but I was good on this because he didn't. There's so many of these books where it's just like, you're mated to me, or like the werv just goes in and bites her, or, you know, like, there's so much of that.
Consent issues with
Bitten. Oh God, what is that series? Bitten by, I think Kelly Armstrong is like that. Like the whole thing kicks off with him biting her without her consent, and then it just goes from there. Yeah, it's a lot. And so it's like, that's where mating kind of pisses me off, is it's like the woman has no agency in the situation. But I liked it here because it was like, she's my mate. Gosh, I hope she likes me or my whole life is going to be miserable. Yeah. Which I thought was very cute.
Oh, it's so cute.
Yeah.
Man, it's really cute. There's one point when he's like comparing the two of them and he's like, she was special and shy, while he was an apex predator with a burning desire to sink his teeth into her arse.
And little does he know, she's an apex predator too. She's just playing shy.
Yeah. So anyway, he's flirting with her. He's trying to...
He's trying
so hard.
With such lines as, it's Halloween next week.
And do you bake?
Yeah.
And meanwhile, since this is all from his perspective, every time she answers him in something that's not talking about coffee, he is like on the floor. Just inside, he's dying with delight that she's engaging with him in a non-work manner. It's so cute. So anyway, then he goes back and sits down.
When we switch to her perspective.
Yeah, we switch to her perspective. And she is not impressed. She is contemplating his murder.
Yeah, as it turns out, she super duper knew he was a werv the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, I'm gonna murder up this werv.
That's right.
Because it turns out she is not allowed to be a huntress because... Is she the youngest? I think she must be the youngest.
She is the youngest. And a witch attended her birth.
Yeah, because a witch came to her birth. Isn't that so? I wish a witch came to my birth and told my mom some things. Yeah.
Me too.
But yeah, this witch showed up and was like, what's up? I'm at the birth. Just so you know, this one can't be a huntress like the rest of you guys, because if she does, her first kill will rip her heart out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're like, hey, Chastity.
You're going to stay home, hon.
You can't be a huntress. We like you in your heart and your life.
We like your heart in your body.
Yeah. But Chastity's like, fuck that witch.
Yeah,
I know
that
I'm a great huntress and I'm going to be the best huntress around. And I don't believe in witches, which is stupid of Chastity because everything else is real. Why not believe in witches?
Yeah.
The other stuff is real.
Yeah. You're looking at a werewolf right now. So she's like, here's my plan.
Yes.
I just need him to ask me out so that we can be alone. And then once that happens, I'll just stab his whole face. That's what I'll do.
I'm going to plunge my silver dagger into his wolf heart.
Yeah.
But now she's a little confused because it seems like he's flirting with her, which seems like unwolf-like. Like she gets showing up to the coffee shop and just devouring protein sandwiches and leaving. Which were croissants, by the way, which is the same in every country. That's a French word, croissant.
Indeed. More culture with Erin.
Smart times with Erin.
So She talks about how this is a werewolf that's completely different from every other werewolf that her family talks about. She's never actually engaged with one, obviously, because she's not allowed to go on hunts. But in her family's tellings, werewolves are completely mindless killing machines that cannot control themselves. They're just the slathering beasts that you imagine them to be. And there's nothing that is savable within them. So she's like, I'm really confused because this guy's like acting like a dude, and that's odd. So anyway, she talks to her. Yeah.
She knew a monster when she saw one. This particular monster was doubtless the one who'd torn her hoodie off of Victory last month. She'd been told of the incident, warned that the were might come hunting for her the next full moon. She hadn't admitted to any of her sisters, and definitely not to her mother, that it had come hunting much sooner than that, in painfully handsome skin. The lie that was its gorgeous face tugged at something deep inside her, something strange and uncomfortable and forbidden. She presumed those feelings were the famous Adolfo Huntress instincts finally at work within her. Judging by the way his presence drove up her pulse, heated her blood, and set her on edge, killing him might just be her destiny. And once she did, her mother would finally see that chastity should be permitted to hunt. So I love that, like, she's like, oh, he's so handsome. I'm so into it. That must mean that I must kill him. He's the one that is my first kill for sure. I just love it.
Me too. I have that also highlighted. Perfect. So then her brother comes up and he's like, do you have a crush? Like you're really intently staring at that dude over there. And she's like, oh, I shouldn't tell my brother, like my sweet, sweet brother. All of the males seem to be in like supporting roles in this family, which I love.
Yes.
They don't hunt.
And they seem to be kind of ignorant of the whole thing in some ways.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, not the whole thing, but they seem to not know all the secrets of the situation of the Huntresses.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So good. So then she's talking to him and she decides to sort of demur because she knows that werewolves have crazy good hearing. And so he's like, ooh, you like him. And she's sort of like, oh, shut up and get back to work. And it works. So then all of a sudden, Luke is at the counter. She turns around and she's like, "Wah!" Like, you got there very quickly. And he's like, so I wouldn't normally do this, but I would like to maybe do something for Halloween with you, if you like Halloween.
She's like, I do enjoy Halloween.
Right.
And he's like, outstanding. On Saturday, are you free so that we could do something related to Halloween? And she was like, I am free. Here is my number. And then he basically leaves. And she notes that Monday is actually the full moon. So Saturday, Halloween, I think Halloween is maybe also Monday, but everybody's celebrating on Saturday because that's how things go. And she's like, oh no, he's still going to be a man when I murder him on Saturday night during our date. I don't know if I can just murder a murder man like in the face while he's still a man because he's so handsome.
He's so pretty.
But she is like talking herself down and being like, he's never a man. This is just a mask he wears. He's a monster all the time.
Well, and they set up a specific date. He gives her his address because she suggests that they go to his house to watch scary movies. And he's like, I wouldn't have expected you to be a scary movie person. And she's like,
because she's so shy.
If you only knew, you monster. And so he's floored. He's completely beside himself. And meanwhile, she says that she wants to go to his house because killing him would be awkward with so many witnesses otherwise. So,
well, and also the cleanup. You don't want to have to clean up your own house. No. Guys, if you're gonna do a murder, you don't want to do it at your house.
No, never do it at your house.
Do it at somebody else's house. Yeah. Really not at a house at all. Houses are hard to clean up after a murder. You don't want that. There's a reason most forensic files murders happens in house. But anyway.
It's true. Oh, also,
somebody got caught.
Really quick, I have to say one line that I highlighted that I cannot let pass is she says, the thought of seeing that smile before he ate her up sent an odd thrill over Chastity's skin until every fine hair stood on end.
Oh my God. This is why I love paranormal so much, you guys, is like the danger sex. It's a danger sex situation.
Yeah.
So then we switch to his perspective in the next chapter, and he's trying to prepare for the date, and it is adorable.
So adorable.
This is one of those where we're going to read the whole thing.
Yeah.
He spent long enough preparing. After all, instinct demanded that he show his mate he could provide for her. So he done his best to make his Spartan home seem inviting. There was a soft blanket on the sofa because humans got cold so easily, and a fire burning in the grate for the same purpose. He couldn't cook for shit, and he didn't think Chastity would react well if he presented her with a rabbit carcass. So he'd run all around town all day collecting takeaway menus. Oh, and he'd bought cupcakes. He'd stalked Chastity long enough to know that she liked cupcakes. Everyone
Just
likes
dead.
cupcakes. If there's any men listening to this who like ladies, don't. Everybody likes cupcakes. You don't have to stalk us for that.
Right. So anyway, he's now, since he's started to engage with her, he's starting to feel the gap without her around. Like he's feeling something missing in his world. Also, real quick, we didn't mention this. He apparently hadn't gotten erections before he smelled that hoodie.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's just like a constant cock stand.
Man, werewolf physiology is fun in this one.
It really is. So she shows up and he's like trying not to leap to the door. It's really cute, but he still gets to the door like inhumanly fast.
Mm-hmm.
And he tries to invite her in. There's a lot of him talking himself down and being like, just because you want her, or, oh, I'm sorry. He opens the door. She sees him and he smells a little bit of arousal happen.
That only grew the longer he stared at her.
But his response to this is perfect because he's like, Luke tensed as he caught the hint of desire, locking down every muscle in his body to stop himself from reacting. Don't scare her. Just because her body's responding to you doesn't mean shit. And
right.
Can I just say, preach?
And she notices that there's some carved pumpkins outside the door that are like very especially carved. I think they're like scenes. They're like landscape scenes.
There's like
and
a
she's
flower.
Like, something like that. And she's like, where'd you get those carved pumpkins? And he's like, the grocery store. And she's like, no, where'd you get the carvings? And he's like, I did them. And then that is very interesting to her.
Yeah.
Because she knows that werewolves don't have souls. And if they're able to create some sort of art, then maybe they do have souls. And she's like, oh my God, I don't know if I can murder a handsome man with a soul. That's really rough. So then she starts talking to him about, so he's a wood carver, like, for a living, and he's showing her his carvings and how he learned how to do it when he was a kid. It's very cute. He gives her an acorn that he carved, half carved. It's not quite done. And he asks if she wants it, and she's like, no. Yes, I do. Actually, yes, I do want it, and I'm going to put it in my pocket. It's great.
And he's so cute because he's like, well, if she likes that shitty half carving, like, she's going to love what I can really do. I am going to make her something that she loves.
And then she'll definitely love me.
Yeah. I'm going to just put presents at her feet. So he offers her the couch. Oh, he tries to take off her coat and she refuses. And he's like, oh, yeah, okay. That's fine. Don't make her nervous.
She must be cold and nervous.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah. So he's starting to second guess everything. Mm-hmm. But then, he gets the takeaway menus out and he's like, which one do you want? She is becoming so overwhelmed by how good he smells that she can barely concentrate on any of the decisions she's making food-wise. And
wait.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yet he always smelled so fucking good. Chastity wasn't sure. The cafe's aroma had a way of drowning out everything else, so maybe he'd always had this incredible scent and the heady mixture of power. Power as a smell. Come on now.
Oh, no.
Awesome.
I highlighted it. I fucking loved it.
I loved it too, but I was like, ooh, the smell of power.
Power.
The heady mixture of power, fresh pine, and midnight heat. Don't know what that is, but it probably smells sexy. And she'd never noticed. Or maybe it was his strange little house in the shadows of the forest rather than him that smelled so great. It didn't really matter in the end, now did it? Because when she was through with him, he'd end up dead regardless. All right.
So good. So then they start chatting. They're on the couch. He gets out his VHS tapes of scary movies, and she's like, okay, what's happening right
what's
now?
That about? And he's like, oh yeah, I haven't gotten to the DVD thing quite yet. And you guys, this was written in like September of this year. So
yeah. Well, and she says in that she's like, she didn't mention that like most of society had moved on to streaming at this point.
Right. Yeah. It's
so
like, oof. Okay, so they start watching the movie. I think
he offers her a cupcake.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, is this where he licks the cupcake?
Oh, it is. Oh, yeah.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah,
So,
you guys.
He's like,
He licks this
you.
cupcake.
Oh, boy, does he ever. He laps at it. I'll tell you that much. So he's like, I got you red velvet because I know it's your favorite, right? And she's like, my brothers probably don't even know my favorite cupcake. And then he starts going to town on his own cupcake, and she is watching him just use
drooling.
his tongue all over the icing on this
He's
thing.
got his eyes closed when he's doing this. And he opens his eyes and she's like blatantly staring at him open mouthed. And he's like, what? And she's like, I lick the frosting off of mine too. We have that in common. And he's like, hey, Chastity, what else do you like to lick?
Huh?
And that goes straight to her vagine.
That's
anyway.
right. Lightning bolt to the hoo-ha.
Yeah.
So, boy, oh boy. But then she's like, he's offering me food. I bet he poisoned it. And so she puts the cupcake down and then has to come up with a reason why. Because he's like, this is odd. That's your favorite cupcake. And she's like, you ever feel like sometimes when you eat other people's work, you feel bad about your own abilities, like as far as her baking is concerned? And he is adorable. He has licked all of the icing off at this point. And he's like, oh, I mean, you shouldn't. This is terrible. And
what a terrible cupcake it is.
Over his shoulder. God, it's so
I
cute.
told the story on the podcast where I threw the muffin after I got weighed in for the army? I told that on the podcast. I told you though, right?
I don't think so. Or you did and it's gone.
I don't know. This spring I got weighed in for the army, and guys, I was too fat for army. It's the first time I've ever been too fat for army, and I was like, oh no. So what happens when you're too fat for army is then they measure all the parts of you to see if you're proportional, because maybe you're just too muscular for army. They don't want to kick you out for that. They only want to kick out the fatties. So they measure your neck and your tummy and your butt and your arms and I think thigh too. And then they do some kind of a calculation to see if you're actually fat or you're just muscly. And like, I know I'm not muscly. So I'm like, ooh. And the lady who measured me was like, I haven't run the numbers yet, but I'm looking at these numbers and it's not looking good for you. So I was like, fuck, I'm going to lose my job because I'm fat. Like, this is terrible. And like, and I know I'm not actually fat, guys. I don't need the emails, but I was just like, I'm too fat for my job. And that's why I'm going to get fired right now. So you also you can weigh in again within the 5-day period if maybe you're just having a day, like you're about to start your period or something like that. So there was going to be a 4-day weekend, and she was like, just so you know, I haven't crunched these numbers yet, so it's not looking good. So, you know, do what you need to do over the weekend, and we'll do this again on Tuesday. And I'm like, okay. So I go back to my office, and I'm like, close the door, and I'm like crying in my office. I'm like, I'm too fat for my job. This sucks. And like, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go downstairs, and I'm going to get one of the big blueberry muffins from the cafe downstairs. I'm going to eat that, and then I'm not going to eat anything for 4 days.
What?
Not healthy. Not healthy. I would have eaten stuff, but I was just like, I was in an emotional moment. Right. I was just like, one muffin, Erin, and then we will starve for the 4 days. Not rational, not a good idea. Anyway, so I go down and I get one of these huge blueberry muffins, and I bring it back up to my office, and then outside my office is the lady who weighed me in and taped me, because she's now crunched the numbers and she's back to tell me the results. And I'm holding like this huge blueberry muffin, and she just told me, do what you need to do and come back on Tuesday. And clearly I'm not, I give no shits.
Right.
So I looked at it and then I threw it down the hall, and I was like, who was that? What? A muffin attack? What happened there?
Did she see?
Certainly not mine. I was like, where did that come from?
My head hurts. Man. That was so good.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think I for some reason I feel like I've already told that story. But anyway,
you have not.
She was like, ma'am, I did the numbers and you're fine. But like, you know, cool it a little bit, you know, on the food.
Maybe leave that muffin on the ground.
No, I went and I got that muffin and I ate that muffin like a queen. Right. It was in cellophane, in case anyone's wondering about bouncing around on the carpet. Anyway, it reminded me of that, only with a cupcake.
Oh, it's so good.
So first, she describes that she's got, just so everybody knows, she's got silver bullets. She's got a silver bullet gun. She's got a dagger strapped to her thigh. The sexiest place to put your daggers, if you're looking for a place on your body for daggers, the sexiest one is going to be thigh.
That's the one.
She's wearing a skirt. And
she's
I feel like she has something else.
Of silver chains.
Yeah, she's got chains.
Like trussed up on her legs and hips and, you know, like a warrior princess.
Yeah, so she's ready. All right. So then they start watching the movie, whatever it is. I don't remember, some kind of scary movie.
And she's getting more and more turned on throughout all of this. And he's having a really hard time concentrating because he's just sitting in a cloud of her arousal. Mm-hmm. So he sat a little bit nearer to her when he put on the film. And then she looks up and he's staring at her instead of the movie. Mm-hmm. And the
deep green of his irises, the copper gold that fractured the emerald. She could get lost in them.
I could
and
too.
In everything she saw there, his hunger, his need, his strange, unbelievable softness, his lust. So she's losing her shit a little bit.
And he is too. So she looks over and she's like, what?
Yeah.
And he goes, nothing. You just smell really fucking good. She goes, thank you. And then I loved this.
Chaz, I know you're kind of shy. She tried not to snort, but you don't need to be shy with me. If you want something, anything, you should just tell me and I'll give it to you. She's like, she's fucking done. So she starts thinking, she goes, okay, maybe she could fuck him. And that would lure him into the ultimate sense of security. Yep. And then she'd tie him up and stick a silver bullet up his ass. Fantastic. Great idea. I just love that she's like, okay, fucking him is actually a great strategy for me right now.
Strategy is what we're thinking. We're not thinking about anything else.
And she's like,
and then he goes, I mean
Huntresses. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
Huntresses are supposed to trust their instincts. And their instincts were telling her to rip this sexy fucker's clothes off, sit on his dick, and then carve out his heart. Or something. She was really hazy on the details. Good stuff.
Oh, it's so good. So she just goes for it. She straddles him. She starts making out with his face.
First, she grabs his hands and pins them back. She leans over, grabs both of his hands, pins them back on the couch, and she's like, these stay here. Do not touch me with your hands. And he's like, okay. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I'm
whatever.
Into it.
Yep.
I'm into it.
And then
he's sitting there thinking,
him.
restraint.
Yeah.
So it's so good. So then they're making out. It's crazy. Things are going well. She is gyrating all up on him, and she's feeling his intense erection all over her parts.
He starts to kind of put his hands on her because he's like, I feel like she's good with it now. She is good with it. So they're
she's very good with it.
Yeah, they're all over each other.
I love the moment, like, she puts her leg over him, and he's like, I saw the dimpled flesh of her thigh and, like, the dark V up further, and he's just losing his whole mind.
I mean, does that mean that Chastity did not wear underpants with this skirt?
I'm pretty sure she wore under... No, it's just the shadows, you know.
I thought he maybe, like, glimpsed some vagina, and I was like...
Maybe. I would be fine with that, too.
I am fine with it.
I don't think I would ever go into a fight without my knickers, but
yeah, that's the thing. I'm more like just impressed by her brazenness. She's like, skirt, dagger, no panties. You know? Jesus.
Yeah, totally. No, I don't think so.
Okay, all right.
Anyway, then he puts his hand, like, she finally puts her tongue in his mouth. He can't handle his life anymore. And so he puts her hands on her thighs and starts working his hands up her skirt. And then all of a sudden, something burns him. And it's so cute because he's like, normally my reflexes would be to throw this burning sensation across the room.
Right.
But because this is my mate, I just set her politely onto the couch.
Yeah. And like, immediately he starts to feel his werewolf beast come out because like he's hurt. And so he just like, he's like, Like, what the fuck was that? And she's like,
and she says,
oh, it's silver, motherfucker.
And then launches herself at him. And she's all elbows and fists of fury. And she pushes him back and they land on the coffee table. And then they roll over because that's now splintered and gone to smithereens. And he's fighting his werewolf beast back down because he doesn't want to hurt her.
And then she gets her dagger and she plunges it into his chest.
Right
just an inch or two, though, but like not quite to his heart. And then he grabs her wrist and he pins her down and he arches an eyebrow like Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah, he does.
And he says, are you done? And she's like, nope. And then she fucking headbutts him.
Right in the head. Oh,
incredible.
Boy. So they keep fighting. She stands up at one point and stomps on his actual face.
Yeah. And he does something to her. I forget. Oh, no, he's worried that she got a concussion from headbutting him. And he's like, are you okay from when you headbutted me?
And she's like, shut the fuck up. Why won't you just die?
I'll kill you. I'm killing you.
This is what I'm doing right now. And so then he sweeps the leg a little bit and she falls on her butt. And then he's like, oh no, I hope her tailbone's okay. And meanwhile, he's still fighting back his beast because he's got a burning silver dagger right near his heart parts.
But he's got an erection all over his penis parts.
That is
still. And she's like, are you honestly still hard right now? And, he's like, are you trying to kill me? And she's like, yeah, why the fuck won't you die? Like, he's just like so betrayed. Like,
everything about it is so
I love him.
Good. Oh, so then she chains him down a little bit, right? She uses her silver chains, maybe?
I don't know if this is after silver chains. I'm sorry. I keep interrupting you for things I keep saying that I want to say.
That's fine.
He goes, cry. Like, he's like chained down. He's got a dagger in his heart. He's naked now because he keeps going in and out of the wolf and his clothes have been like, right. And like, she's got the chains. It's not a good situation for him.
Right.
And he's like, Christ, she wasn't shy at all, was she? The hesitation, the demure smiles, the lowered lashes, it had all been a trap. She wasn't sweet or gentle or biddable. She was a bloodthirsty fucking murderer. His heart sang.
His heart sang. It's so good. So then it switches back to her perspective and she's like, werewolves should be easier to kill. This is bullshit. It's adorable. So every time she tries to hurt him, her whole body hesitates. So she wants to. Her mind is telling her, yes, 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 kill this beast. But she keeps coming back to the fact that he seems sentient and articulate and artistic and like all the things. And she doesn't know what's going on. And then he fully transforms into a wolf and he tries to talk to her. And she's like, it sounded really oddly like he was asking her why.
Yeah. So then he's down, he's dying because it's not quite to his heart yet, the dagger, but it is poisoning him. And he's like, can you please, I'm too weak to take out this dagger. I would really appreciate it if you would take off this dagger because I'm going to die. And she's like, I want you to die.
Meanwhile, he's spooning her at this point.
Oh.
It's really cute.
Yeah, I forgot that.
He's naked, a man again, spooning her and just holding her down, being like, Chastity, you have to take this out because I don't have any power to fight you anymore. And you know you don't want to kill me.
Yeah. And he tells her that if he dies, her whole life is going to be bad.
It's going to go downhill.
Yeah. Because of so love, you guys. And she then, during the spooning, she's like, do you still have a boner? Like, because I've noticed that you still have a boner.
And he goes, I know, it's not the best use of my energy.
And then she says, why the hell are you still hard? And he's like, the same reason you're still wet, love. Don't throw stones.
Oh, it's so good.
So good.
So anyway,
she eventually is like, takes it out.
And then she sits like Florence Nightingale for hours and hours by his side, making sure that his color comes back and that he feels better. And then she leaves.
Yeah.
So
she's at the coffee shop and her brother, she's just sad or whatever. Like, she's just not herself. Yeah. And her brother's like, well, what's going on with you? And she's like, I have a friend who I think might be in trouble. He also notices that the werewolf guy isn't there. He's like, oh, your guy isn't here. And she's like, yeah. And he's like, oh, is that why you're sad? And she's like, I don't know. She's like, I just got a friend who's like kind of sick and I just want to go check on him. So the brother cuts her loose and is like, go check on your friend. Go do what you need to do because you're kind of useless here. So
So she does. She leaves.
She doesn't get all the way there, though.
In the parking lot, there's a monster lurking.
Mm-hmm.
And it is really cute.
A really cute monster is lurking. Monster. And she knows that he's there. She knows that there's a sexy monster around.
Yeah.
So he corners her in an alleyway, and they just have like a super sexy back and forth banter where eventually she's like, I've got questions for you for research. She's convinced herself that she kept him alive basically because she needs to find out about this, like, does he have a soul sort of thing.
Yeah. Completely. She's like, no. It's just for my family, for research purposes.
I need to ask him questions for research times. And so, like, they're going back and forth. He's like, he like licks her neck a little bit. Like, he's got her against a wall in an alley, and it is
hot.
Delicious. It's good stuff.
Yeah. So he's like, all right, we'll play this game. That's fine. Mm-hmm. You ask me a question, and then I get a kiss. And so she asks the question, and he's like, all right, where's my kiss? She kisses him on like the corner of the mouth. And she's like, you never told me that I had to kiss you on the mouth. And he's like, oh, she doesn't know what Pandora's box she just opened.
You don't want to like draw those parameters now.
Yeah, boy.
So, but also before they even start this game, she's like, because he's kind of like kissing her on the neck and stuff. And she's like, all right, well, what's about to happen now? You going to rip my throat out? And he says, I could no more rip out your throat than rip out my own heart. Anyway, so
good.
She's asking questions about, it doesn't matter. She's asking werewolf questions or whatever. What matters is they do awesome sex stuff.
Oh, boy.
The wall in the alley. Because
one of the kisses
she didn't specify.
turns in.
Yeah, exactly. She didn't specify that it has to be the mouth. And so he's like, all right, I guess it's going to be the everywhere else. And then, yeah.
And then his hand starts going down her pants. Oh, oof. Boy. And
good stuff.
She's like, oh, God, please don't stop. And he goes, I couldn't. I wouldn't. Mm-hmm, there's no way. So after that, he says that now that the game's over and everything, why don't we go back to my house? No more game. You can just ask me all the questions. It's fine. And before, he had been like, you probably need to bake me some cupcakes to make up for the fact, the attempted murder. And so she's like, well, all right, on the way, we'll stop at a shop and we will pick up ingredients for cupcakes. And he's like, ugh, human things doing grocery. Ugh. Yeah. All right, fine. We can do that.
During this, she does say, hey, Luke, you're a monster and you eat people. And like, I haven't forgotten that. And he's like, I try hard not to eat people. And she's like, that means you've eaten some people. And he's like, touche, my friend.
Yeah. Well, he's like, I think he actually says, it's more like I enthusiastically killed them with my teeth.
Yeah. I didn't eat them as much as
and even if I did eat them, murdered. I'm a werewolf. So it wouldn't be cannibalism. Anyway, it's so cute. They go back to his place and he is, oh God, I love this so much. He's like, his mate said that there should be very few lumps in this batter. And so he would eliminate all lumps. Also, he really liked the way that she was looking at his forearms. He didn't know why forearms could be a sexy thing, but
yeah, if she thinks they're sexy, then he's going to keep flexing them. That's fine.
That's right.
Oh man.
God, it was so cute. So then
he confesses that he did murder some people, but they were like crime people that he was young and he needed to murder, so he tried to murder some bad people. Fine. Classic werewolf. Classic stuff.
Yeah, he had been fighting his angry nature for a really long time, and he thought that using it in a good way would be okay, but it really just sent him on the spiral to become rabid. And this is where Chastity learns that her family, who has lost a lot of knowledge because nothing's written down, and there was apparently an early death or something, she learns that there's a difference between a werewolf and a rabid, like when werewolves go rabid.
Yeah. And they don't know that. They've been killing, and she freaks out because she's like, oh no, have we been killing people that are not rabbids, that are people most of the time and don't kill other people and just have this kind of like wolfy affliction?
Yeah.
And he's pretty confident that they haven't been because they're too smart for them, because rabbids are pretty easy to kill and werewolves are a lot. And since they're not out killing people, they're pretty under the radar. So he kind of puts her at ease on that one. And then can we talk about cupcake sex?
Yeah, let's talk about cupcake sex. Please.
Can we get to the cupcake sex? Yeah. So, out of nowhere, she just like dumps this thing of batter on his head.
He says something cheeky, and she's like, oh, yeah?
I felt it came out of fucking nowhere. Or maybe she did it as like a diversion or something. I don't remember. But so he takes the bowl, and then he's going to throw it at her, and she's immediately like, not the hair, though. Which I think is really funny because she knows she's going to have to wash her hair if the bend, I know about curly girls now, so I know that is true. A problem. You don't want to have to wash your hair, especially not at a stranger's house where you're not going to have your microfiber towel or your silk pillowcase or your special shampoo. Anyway, so so he throws it at her chest, which is better for everybody.
Right.
Then he just like slings her over his shoulder and like he's going back to the bedroom.
Oh,
and
boy.
He's going to lick it all off, which you know how I feel about this.
It's good, right? It's really good.
I mean, it's
Erin. He's licking chocolate off of her chest. That can only be good.
I enjoy the idea of licking all the chocolate off of each other. I do not enjoy the idea of doing it in a bed. Stay in the living room. Do it on the hardwood. Do it in the kitchen where food belongs. Because she even says, we're going to get chocolate frosting and batter and everything all over your sheets. And he's like, I don't care. And I'm like, well, where are you fuckers going to sleep then? Because what are you going to do then? It's going to be everywhere. And then you're going to have to wash the sheets. And then it's like a whole thing. And it's definitely going to get in her hair. It's 100% going to get in her hair because it's on his head.
It's sticky. It's fine. It just adds to the sensation.
I would never be able to forget about it the entire time. The whole time I would just be like, and whoa, what are you touching now? Oh God, the headboard. Oh no. No. Just you need to do it in an enclosed space. Shower. Do it in a shower.
Yeah.
Why can't you do it in the shower?
Fair.
Anyway.
So this is where we get hot oral action. He goes right down on her. Oh, yeah. It is so excellent. There's a part that I highlighted that says that he licked her from cunt to clit, which...
Oh, yes. Bing, boom, bong. Use of the word cunt with Erin and Melody.
Oh, it works.
I mean, previously we'd given this award to several authors. Actually, mostly just Tiffany Rice. But Talia Hibbert... Here you have an honorary use of the word cunt award from the Heaving Bosoms podcast. There's now 2 recipients. You're the other one. Good work.
Nice work.
Good work. All right.
Just the way that you did that for us. We really appreciated it.
Yeah. And so he is pushing into her swollen cunt. And he says, Chaz, I want to mate you. Let's do it now. And she freaks out. And
she should.
Over.
Sex over. And I love this because he immediately is just like, he's got like 1 inch of his cock in her. And he's like, we'll pull out now. She said,
even though he magically needs to fuck her. Not just regular needs to fuck her. Yeah. But magic needs to do it.
These are heightened levels of need.
Yeah. Magic need. And he's still like, okay.
We'll take it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor guy has been hard for the first time for a month.
Ever. So then they kind of get in a fight where she's like, this is moving too fast. You're a werewolf. I don't want to be your mate. What do you mean by mate? I thought we were just having sex and we're talking wolf stuff. And he's like, oh, you're my mate. And like, I didn't super explain that to you. And like, I need to be with you for life. And she's like, well, that's a lot because I met you yesterday and maybe don't, spring this on me right now during sex. That's not fair to anybody. Accurate. So she leaves.
But she kind of burns it down a little bit. She does burn it down. She says, I'm not running, Luke. I'm just leaving because I got what I came here for.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. What a bitch.
What a bee-face. I mean, I get it. And as she leaves, he throws his head back and howls. Oh, no. Okay. So then she goes back to her casa. And she's like, okay, parents, Hunter parents, you know, I've been doing this thing. I've been doing this low-key, trying to go on my first hunt by myself situation.
I've been low-key fucking a werewolf. So, need to tell you guys about it. And so she tells them all about how he lives in a house like a person, and he makes cupcakes, and he does art, and how he told her about the difference between a werewolf and a rabid, and all that kind of stuff.
And then she gets to the part where she's his mate, and instead of freaking the fuck out like she thought her parents would, her dad is just like, oh, that makes sense. And she's sort of like, what?
Yeah.
You want to run that by me again? And he's like, well, we thought it was going to be literal ripping your heart out, but this actually makes more sense.
Yeah.
It would metaphorically rip your heart out. Yeah. Totally.
Witches are so fucking tricky.
Witches are tricky.
Witches. You know, she could have just been like, the prophecy could have been like, this huntress will fall in love with a werewolf. And then she just, into the night. No. Yeah. They're always tricky. All prophets and witches and stuff, tricky.
Never straightforward.
And also in this argument, the gender reversal, I think, is great. Because usually you have somebody come home and be like, you know, I'm dating a Montague. And like the dad's like, fuck that, we will never, rah, rah, rah. And then the mom is like, but love. And this is the opposite. The mom is much more like, a werewolf, how is our family history? And the dad's like, but it seems like she loves him, Carol.
Yeah.
I don't know her real name. I mean, I assume it's Carol. It's not Carol. It's something like Maleficent.
There is a moment, though, that is so cute because she's like, you know, I know that like I'm not a huntress and stuff. And her mom says, just because you've never been cleared for active duty doesn't mean you're not a huntress. Knowledge is at the root of everything we do, Chastity. A hand cannot act without a mind to guide it. Your discoveries might just restore this family to the force it was always meant to be. And then she tells her that she's proud of her. And it's a whole thing that is just delicious. So anyway, they call a family meeting. They're like, this is what's going on, family. Here's what's up. She then has another shift at the barista place at the coffee shop. And she clocks out and she goes home and she's feeling really dejected and awful. And then who makes a reappearance but Victory? Victory is waiting for her and she's making pancakes because that's really what good sisters do, you know?
Yeah, so she's going to lay down some sister wisdom, and basically they have a nice sisterly heart-to-heart, and Victory's like, go fuck that werewolf. Like, made up that werewolf. And Chastity's like, it's too soon, it's not normal, I don't know about their wolfy customs.
Also,
and she's
tonight
like,
is
nothing.
The actual full moon.
Yeah,
so
tonight's
he's
the full
going
moon.
to be full werewolf if I go see him now.
Yeah. But Victory's like, nothing's normal, we're werewolf huntresses, like, this is your destiny. You should go out and do that. And
and we also find out that Victory and one of her brothers like knew about this whole plan and were making sure she was safe the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
She was like, P.S. You were really good in that fight. Good
horrifying,
job.
Embarrassing. They were in that alleyway? Jesus Christ.
No, they were.
Yeah, they were.
He was.
Because they were like, one of them was because they commented on what a kisser he was and how much she was into it. I'm like, can you imagine your two siblings watching you get finger banged for your safety?
No. I think, they were only like watching her in the house. So there was like some hardcore making out and some gyrating. But
I think they've been watching her the whole time.
They didn't eyeball that finger bang. There's no way.
I don't know for sure if they didn't eyeball that finger banging.
Listen, her brother could have heard a passionate moan or 5.
Talia, if you're listening,
let us
get
know.
on Twitter. And I just want, here's what our request is just, they did eyeball that finger banging or they did not eyeball that finger banging. You don't have to do spoilers for your book. That's all we just want to hear.
Yeah.
Did or did not peep that finger banging. All right. Okay.
That's what we
cool,
want.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. So she goes. She's like, you know what? I might be dressed like a cupcake because it's actual Halloween.
But it's more like a Little Red Riding Hood outfit if you look at it how it's described. And then also she makes the decision because she decides, even though he's a wolf tonight, she believed him when he said that he couldn't rip out her heart or her throat any more than he could rip out his own heart.
Ooh.
Ow!
It's so
Nerves.
good. So she goes and she meets him in the forest behind his house. And she's like, Luke, 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 Luke. It's echoing through the forest. And he's like, and she sees just his unnaturally beautiful green eyes in the darkness. And she walks up to him in heels, P.S., because she couldn't bring herself to change. She just needed to get to him.
She needed him. She needed him now.
And after she apologizes, he can't really talk very well. But he like paws her shoulder and doesn't realize how strong he is. And so he just boofs her right down on the ground. And then he's like, oh no. And he's like trying to help her. And she's like, get off me. I'm fine.
Nuzzles.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's getting those sweet, sweet wolf nuzzles.
Yeah. So long story short, she gives him some scratches. She tells him she's sorry. Yeah. And then she kicks off those heels and she starts running, and then he catches her, and then she runs away again and he catches her.
So cute.
She's just like playing with him like he's a doggo, and it's so cute. And then in the morning
he turns back into a man. She's holding him as he makes the transformation.
They're all muddy.
Yeah, and he's like, what the fuck is wrong with your feet? And she's like, oh, I lost my heels at some point. He's like, you're bleeding. We go to the house right now. I bandage you. And did I tell you that Ember's really obsessed with bandaging lately?
No.
He's been watching this show called Octonauts, and there's a penguin medic in it named Peso. And so Peso is always bandaging different sea creatures who need it. And he like makes these noises that are like, ha 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 ha, when he's done. Mm-hmm. And so Ember lately, part of his like bedtime and goodbye ritual is to, I mean, it's long. It's like 17 different steps. But one of them is to look at us and be like, you have a cut. And then we have to be like, oh, will you bandage it for us? And then he does the ha ha ha. And he's really proud of himself. So anyway, that's what I imagined.
No, bing bong bong. Logistics with Erin, Octonauts edition. So they bandage a sea creature that's in the sea?
No, Erin. You don't get to think
because
logically about this.
You can't put a bandage on like an octopus and then put it back in the sea. It's going to soak up all that
they do it
water.
Under the water.
How is this bandage under the water? Is it
they
like a waterproof?
Special
Is it like
aquatic
a
bandages. Yeah, special aquatic bandages.
What kind of sea creatures are we talking about?
Everything
Penguins
from
don't
eels.
have opposable thumbs. How's he gripping the thing?
So good at bandaging. So eels, sharks. There's a giant Australian alligator at one point.
Tell me in what world the penguin and the shark are in the same temperature of water.
When they're an octonaut, they go everywhere. So Ember's with us right now. He woke up early from his nap.
Speaking of octonauts.
Hello, Ember. And he's showing me his big giant gorilla. Can you do Mama a favor and go watch Lego City again?
All right. Well, since we're on headphones while Melody's talking to her toddler, I'll just say they go back to his house and they fuck the shit out of each other.
Yeah, they do. They have
you can keep it clean on your side. I'll tell you the dirty stuff on my side.
Burning desires for each other, I'll tell you that much. So, first they nap, which is adorable. He bandages her feet, and then they nap. Mm-hmm. And then they wake up, and he's like, we're going to do this thing. And she's like, yeah, we are. No, really. She's like, she's worried that he's going to be like, well, that was fun and all, but go away. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she's like, I just need more time with the whole mating thing. Like, I'm on that track with you, but like, and he's like, okay, that's hard for me, but we'll do it.
Yeah, and he offers to date her.
Mm-hmm. So he starts doing like smooches and caresses and stuff, and she's like, just fuck me, she demanded, reaching back to fist his shaft. When her fingers closed around him, tightened on that satin steel, he choked out her name and grabbed her wrist. Human women, he growled, require foreplay. This is my favorite line in the book.
Mine too.
Human women, she said, require that you do whatever the fuck they ask.
Yeah.
It's so good. Then she finds out he's never slept with anybody before. Anyway, so then they have super great.
So then she's like, "You're a virgin?"
Mhm.
He's like, "Nope. Fucked you yesterday."
Yeah, exactly. She's like, that's not what that is. That was a just the tip situation. So like you're about to get schooled right now. So they have super great sex, and then near the end of it, she bites the shit out of him.
Yeah, she bites his forearm.
So she goes first. She mates him before he mates her. And then they're in love, and that's the end. And Talia,
forever.
This needs to be a series. There's 14 siblings here. That to me is 14 books, and whoever Leo, what's his name? What's the Luke? I almost said Leo. Whoever Luke's friends are too. So that's probably like 25 books. Talia.
Yeah, let's do it.
So give them to us. Start typing.
I think that Victory deserves her own novella. They can all be novellas. We're not greedy.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. Christmas time werewolf. That's what we want.
Oh, that's what we want? Just, it could just be a holiday thing.
Yeah.
Easter werewolf.
The feast of the
Kwanzaa
Thanksgiving werewolves. Kwanzaa werewolves.
Let's do it.
Yes. I like Hanukkah werewolves. Like one
Hanukkah
sister
werewolves.
is Jewish now. Like, let's just do this.
Maybe the werewolf is Jewish. I don't know. Werewolves?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Why not? Here's the thing. More books under whatever circumstances. That's what we want. We want more paranormals out of you, Talia.
You
That's
do
what we
a
want.
great job. This was excellent work, my friend.
Yes.
We super enjoyed it.
Yes.
All right. Anything else to say about this?
No,
lovely,
except that I
amazing,
loved it.
fabulous
Happy
book?
Halloween, everyone.
Yeah.
Best
Happy
Halloween holiday to all of you.
If you haven't read this book,
You just need to
first
read
of
it.
all, you need to slap yourself on the wrist and then go out and get it.
It's only
so,
like
so
99
good.
cents right now. I don't know if it's still going to be 99 cents when you hear this, but like, just do it. Just get it.
So good.
Get it, do it, love it, need
Get it,
it.
do it, love it. Erin, are you being something for Halloween?
No. God, I haven't even thought about that. Nope.
Oh.
No.
I'll
probably
being a
just-
jellyfish. Because we're all, Ember's obsessed with octonauts. We're all being sea creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Michael is a walrus. And I got this light up jellyfish hat because the one thing I did not want to do was attempt to gauge costumes with pregnant belly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to wear like a black or blue dress and then a jellyfish hat.
Recently, my friends Mike and Molly, who are married, she was a whale. She was an orca whale, and he was a SeaWorld trainer. And he brought a bucket of Swedish fish and just tossed them into her mouth all night. That is a smart costume.
Like my absolute dream.
Because it's a dream. You just open your mouth and go, ah, ah, and your husband tosses candy into it.
Yes.
And it's part of the costume.
You can like flail a little bit or like do a leap. And then he tosses you Swedish fish. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I've thought of nothing, but I don't know. Whenever I've thought of nothing, I always I have a FBI Dana Scully badge and a red wig that can come out at any time. All you need is a suit.
So
all you
she's
need is a smart
be,
pantsuit.
She's your version of Minions? Is that going to be your third?
Yeah, but I've
time
never
in a
said to
row?
anyone, I look forward all year to Halloween so that I can wear this stupid costume. I never said that. And also, how dare you compare Special Agent Dana Scully to a Minion?
Listen, I did not. I just compared the reusing of costumes.
Fair.
You know? That's
But
all.
she shall never be compared to a Minion.
Never would I ever. All right, what's your lady love? I have a lady love. Here it is. So, not only do I suggest FaceTiming with friends and everything else, or like, whatever, video chatting with friends, because it's just so much better than just straight up audio.
Hate it.
But something happened the other day on the cult that was just excellent.
Oh, are we going to talk about Becky taking her lipstick off?
We are going to talk about that.
Incredible. That was so funny.
One of our cultists got the indelible lipstick that was my lady love a couple of weeks ago, and she was like, "Ooh, I love it, it's so good, it feels so nice, blah 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 blah." But then you look in the comments and it was like, Code red. It's not coming off. DEF CON is most extreme.
Trying to get it off.
Yeah. So then she made a series of videos because she was like, I just feel like everybody should go on this journey with me. And frankly, that was the correct decision.
Yes. Guys, HBs, if you're in the cult and you're wondering whether to post a video of yourself, please do it. We want to know what you look like.
Yeah,
it's so
anytime.
Fun.
Anytime. It's so good. So anyway, then like we had a ton of responses. And meanwhile, the HBs were there for her. They were like, try this, try this, try all the things that take off makeup. Because I think she might have just been using like a dried up wipe. I don't know.
Or
I don't know.
Water. And it's waterproof.
Water. Anyway, then I responded with a short video of me taking off the lipstick I was wearing at that point. What's so funny? I'm doing my podcast right now. That's what's so funny. Auntie Erin is very funny. Can you go watch TV, please?
True story.
That would be amazing. And you can play with your animals and you can draw. Oh, good. I'm so glad you're playing with your animals. So so I responded with the video. It's just so fun when you can, if you're thinking about it, communicate with people with videos. It's the best. That's my lady love.
It's the best. Yeah, I don't have like a lady love. I'm sorry, guys. I just didn't think about it today. I don't have it.
That's okay. Well, you're going to that
library. I'm about to head
meetup.
to the Eagle River Chugiak Library to do a romance book club at the library. So if you have one of those, you should go. I can't quite recommend it yet because I'm not there, but I'm sure that it will come highly recommended once I'm done with it.
Totally. All right, cool. Well, my toddler is becoming increasingly wanting for my face, so I need to go. You can find us on all the places. You can find us on Instagram at Heaving Bosoms, on Twitter at Heaving_Bosoms, on Facebook, Heaving Bosoms Podcast, or we have this friggin' awesome group, the Heaving Bosoms Podcast Geriatric Friendship Cult. Then you can also email us. We've been getting so many emails, partially because of the anniversary and partially because people are just reaching out, which is
They're so
wonderful.
Great. These emails are so great.
They're the best, and they always make my day. My email is heavingbosomspodcast@gmail.com.
And people have asked if the bribe is alive and flourishing. It still is. I mean, we're probably back 100 books on the bribe list, but you can still bribe us. We like reviews.
Yeah, and we will absolutely get to it. It just might be a while.
Lately, people that are joining the cult are saying they're finding the podcast just by browsing on iTunes, which means that people are finding the podcast because of your 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
Because iTunes is elevating us in the list of like when people look for literary podcasts. So they do really, really matter, and they get you more friends for the cult. So keep reviewing. It also just helps me late at night or early in the morning when I'm editing. Just seeing a new one pop up is always really nice. Yeah. But we are bribable still and probably always. Always.
Always. And all
right. Well,
keep being a badass.
And love yourself as much as you love throwing baked goods away from yourself to hide the evidence of how much you like baked goods. All right.
Oh, it's so good. All right. I love you so much, and happy Halloween, and I will see you later.
All right. Love you too. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, you. Yes, listener, you. Are you loving the show? If so, please leave a rating and review in your podcast app. The 90 seconds you take to say something nice not only helps new people find the show, but it makes me super smile over at HBHQ. Also, I've had a few people ask, and the answer is yes. We are still doing the 5-star bribe. If you leave us a review with 5 stars, then we'll do whatever book you want. We're real deep into the list, though, so it might be a while. Lilas! Okay, back to the show.